When someone emotionally checks out, they don't just leave the relationship. They leave you with a question mark inside your identity. You start replaying everything, not because you're obsessed, but because your nervous system is trying to find the moment where you became not enough. You start scanning for what you did wrong. You start wondering if you were too intense, too soft, too emotional, too available, too honest, too much, not enough, wrong timing, wrong tone, wrong needs. And the most cruel part is that when someone checks out quietly, without clean closure, your mind tries to create closure by blaming you. Because blame feels like control. If it's your fault, you can fix it next time. If it's your fault, you can prevent it. If it's your fault, then love is still predictable. But that's the lie that keeps you in pain. The truth is that someone emotionally checking out usually has far more to do with their capacity than your worth. And stopping the not enough feeling isn't about convincing yourself you're amazing. It's about removing the false story that their withdrawal is a measurement of you. Emotional withdrawal is not a scoreboard. It's a coping strategy. It's a defense. It's often avoidance, overwhelm, fear of intimacy, fear of responsibility, or simply a choice to stop investing. And none of those things are solved by you becoming more perfect. So the first shift that heals you is this. You stop treating their emotional availability like a verdict. Because when you treat it like a verdict, you turn their nervous system into your mirror. And their mirror is distorted. People who check out don't reflect your value. They reflect their relationship with closeness. They reflect their tolerance for depth. They reflect their ability to repair. They reflect their maturity. And when you let a checked-out person define your worth, you are letting the least present person in the room write the story of you. That's not fair to you, and it's not true. Now, let's name what emotionally checked out actually does to a person. It creates a specific kind of grief called ambiguous loss. You didn't lose them in one clean moment. You lost them in fragments, in little absences, in shorter replies, in less warmth, in conversations that felt thinner, in affection that became rare, in a feeling that you were reaching and there was no hand reaching back. Ambiguous loss is brutal because you keep trying to recover what you can't locate. You keep trying to fix what you can't name. And that's where not enough is born. Not enough is the mind's attempt to explain a disappearance that didn't have a clear ending. So, to stop feeling not enough, you have to close the loop in a different way. Not with a conversation, not with a confession, with clarity. Clarity is when you say, "They were emotionally unavailable to the level I needed." That's the sentence that ends the self-attack. Not because it makes them a villain, but because it makes reality coherent. If you keep saying, "I wasn't enough," you will keep chasing upgrades that are actually just self-erasure. You'll keep trying to become someone who needs less, someone who asks for less, someone who is easier to abandon. That is the opposite of healing. Healing is becoming someone who trusts their needs and protects them. Because your needs are not the problem. Your needs were the alarm. Your needs were the part of you that knew this wasn't safe. The next thing to understand is this. People emotionally check out in patterns, and those patterns are often predictable once you stop personalizing them. Some people check out the moment intimacy gets real, the moment it requires consistency, emotional responsibility, vulnerability, repair. Some people check out when they feel they can't control the narrative. Some check out when they feel exposed. Some check out when their shame is activated. Some check out because they want the benefits of connection without the costs. Some check out because they're chasing a fantasy of easy love that never asks them to grow. And some check out because they're simply not choosing you. It's important to let that be possible without turning it into a story about your worth. Not being chosen by one person is not a global verdict. It's not evidence that you are unlovable. It's evidence that they did not choose. That's it. If someone checks out, it doesn't mean you were too much. It means they didn't have the capacity, the desire, or the maturity to stay present with you. And you can grieve that without making it your identity. Here is where the not enough story gets extra sticky. When they were warm in the beginning, when they pursued you, when they made you feel special. Because then your brain says, they saw my value at first, so why did it change? And you start believing the change must be about you. But early warmth is not always character. Sometimes early warmth is chemistry. Sometimes it's novelty. Sometimes it's performance. Sometimes it's their nervous system being excited before the fear of closeness kicks in. Sometimes it's their capacity for the beginning, not their capacity for the maintenance. So your job is not to obsess over the beginning. Your job is to measure the pattern over time. The pattern is what you lived in. The pattern is the truth. And if the pattern became you reaching and them receding, then the problem wasn't your worth. The problem was the mismatch between your depth and their presence. Depth is a gift, but it requires a partner who can hold it. If you give depth to someone who can't hold it, they will drop it. And then you will blame yourself for being heavy, when the real issue is that they didn't have hands strong enough to carry what you offered. Another reason not enough lingers is because you didn't just want them. You wanted the version of you that you were with them. You were softer, more open, more alive. You had hope. You imagined a future. You invested. So when they checked out, it wasn't only rejection. It was the collapse of the self you were building. And the mind tries to make sense of that collapse by saying, I wasn't enough. But you were enough to feel deeply. You were enough to be loyal. You were enough to offer real love. The collapse happened because they didn't match you. And mismatches feel personal when you're attached, but they're not personal in the way your shame tells you. If you want a clean way to stop feeling not enough, you need to separate two things: your worth and your fit. Worth is non-negotiable. Fit is relational. Someone can be a terrible fit and still trigger your deepest longing. Someone can be emotionally limited and still be charismatic. Someone can be unable to love well and still be loved by you. That doesn't make you wrong. It makes you human. But your brain will keep confusing "I wanted them" with "they were right." And they are not the same. Want is not evidence of safety. Want is not evidence of compatibility. Want is often evidence of attachment patterns and emotional hunger. So the way out is to stop using your longing as proof that you were the problem. Longing is just a signal. It's a feeling. It's not a verdict. The other shift is that you stop looking at their withdrawal as the end of your value and start looking at it as the exposure of their limit. When someone checks out, they are telling you, "This is as present as I can be." And instead of arguing with that, you accept it. Acceptance doesn't mean approval. It means you stop spending your life trying to extract presence from someone whose system uses absence as comfort. If you keep trying, you will keep feeling not enough, because the relationship is built to make you feel like you're always one step away from earning them back. That's how these dynamics keep you trapped. So, you cut the contract. You stop auditioning for emotional availability. You stop competing with their distractions. You stop proving that you're worth staying for. Because you don't want to be worth staying for. You want to be chosen freely. You want someone who stays because it's who they are, not because you performed well enough. Now, let's talk about the part you might not want to admit. You might be addicted to the idea that if you could just be enough, the pain would become meaningful. Like if you were enough, the story would end differently. That's a way to keep hope alive, but hope becomes healing only when it's attached to you, not to them. You redirect hope away from their return and toward your recovery. You become enough for yourself first. Not in a cliché way, in a practical way. You stop abandoning yourself to chase someone who already checked out. You stop arranging your life around someone's indecision. You stop shrinking to fit a person who never truly made room for you. And as you do that, not enough starts to fade, because your nervous system stops receiving the daily message, "My needs don't matter." Every time you stay in a checked-out dynamic, you teach yourself that your needs are optional. Every time you choose yourself, you teach your body that you will protect it. And emotional safety with yourself is what dissolves shame. Here's the most stabilizing sentence you can hold. I didn't lose my worth when they checked out. I lost access to their presence. Those are not the same thing. Their presence is a resource they either had or didn't have. Your worth is yours, untouched, intact. The final piece is this. If you want to stop feeling not enough, stop measuring yourself by someone who couldn't meet you. Stop taking feedback from absence. Absence is not feedback. It's a refusal. It's a limit. It's a choice. And you don't build self-worth by negotiating with a refusal. You build self-worth by honoring yourself as if you are worthy, even without their confirmation. Because you are. And one day, when you're in a connection that is steady, you'll look back and realize how much you were blaming yourself for someone else's lack of emotional courage. You'll realize how much you were trying to become smaller to be loved. And you'll feel a tenderness for the version of you who thought not enough was the explanation. It wasn't. The explanation was simple. You were present. They weren't. You were willing. They weren't. You were deep. They were limited. And that is painful, but it is not shameful. It's just the truth. And truth is what sets you free. Welcome to Attachment Alchemy Lab. You're safe here.